All right, today we're going to dive into the core ideas from The River of Glory, a book by Bill Vincent from Revival Waves of Glory Ministries. Now, this book is all about a single, really powerful metaphor for how you can experience God's presence and healing in a way that's tangible, totally transformative, and, well, absolute. So let's get right into it.
So the whole book, and I mean the entire thing, is built around this one powerful image from the book of Ezekiel. It's this vision of a river that's so deep and so vast that you can't just wade through it. No, it demands full immersion. See, this isn't some gentle little stream, it's an overwhelming force. And that single idea, that's the key to understanding this whole approach to faith, healing, and worship.
So what exactly is this river of glory? Well, according to the book, it's a direct flow of God's tangible presence. It's described as a pure river of water of life, proceeding from the throne of God. Now, the critical idea here isn't that this is just a nice symbol. The teaching is that this is a real, palpable power, an atmosphere you can actually feel that brings incredible life and healing wherever it flows.
Okay, so this powerful river metaphor brings us to the book's central distinction. See, the author presents two fundamentally different ways of being, two ways of approaching your faith and healing. He frames it as two distinct locations. The question is, are you standing on the safe, predictable shoreline, or are you fully immersed in the unpredictable power of the river? It's a contrast that really defines your whole spiritual experience.
And you know, the book really hinges on this very question. It's a challenge, really. It asks you to think about whether there's a gap between intellectually believing that healing is possible and actually physically and emotionally experiencing that healing as something happening right now, in the present.
So here it is, the core contrast. On the shoreline, you might believe in healing, but the author suggests this is where faith can get kind of stagnant. It's where hesitation and doubt can creep in. But in the river, that's a completely different reality. The book's teaching is that in the river, you don't just believe in healing, you are healed. It's described as a place where sickness actually leaves the body, and incredibly, the author claims the success rate for healing becomes 100%.
Okay, so if the goal is to get into the river, what does that actually look and feel like? This next part, the power within, is all about what happens when you're in the flow. We're moving from just the concept to the consequences, looking at the specific, tangible effects, and yes, even the miracles that are said to happen in this atmosphere of glory.
This verse is used to really underscore the river's immense power. The principle here is pretty simple. Wherever this divine presence flows, it brings life. It transforms, it renews, and according to the book's message, it makes everything in its path just come alive. Not just physically, but with a new spiritual vitality and purpose.
And when we talk about miracles, the range attributed to this river is, well, it's vast. This goes way beyond just general wellness. We're talking about everything from deep physical and emotional healing to the restoration of muscles and bones. And, maybe most strikingly, the author describes witnessing specific dental miracles, things like cavities being supernaturally filled, with some people reportedly leaving services with new gold fillings.
So this all leads to the big, practical question, right? If all these incredible miracles happen in the river, how does a person get from that hesitant shoreline into that powerful flow? Well, the book lays out a very specific pathway. It's all about shifting from a passive belief to an active experience, and it all centers on one crucial activity: worship.
Now, the crucial point here is that this isn't just about singing a few songs. The author describes a whole progression, a process. It starts with wholehearted worship. This intense praise then creates a tangible atmosphere, which the book calls the spirit of worship. When that atmosphere is present, that's when God's glory, His tangible presence, is said to arrive. And it's right there, inside that atmosphere of glory, that the miracles and the healing start to unfold.
You know, if this process of accessing God's presence through worship is something that you find interesting or want to learn more about, the author's ministry, Revival Waves of Glory Ministries, has a ton of resources and teachings available on their website.
But the book's message isn't just about individual healing. It really expands from the personal to the global. It presents a much, much larger vision for the future. The author argues that these principles are actually the foundation for a massive spiritual movement that's on the horizon, a healing revival that's prophesied to completely reshape the future of the church and its role in the world.
To really understand this vision, the author gives us some historical context, pointing back to some of the major healing movements of the 20th century. But then, the book makes a truly bold claim, that the revival coming in the near future will be greater, more powerful, and more glorious than anything that has ever come before. And this quote right here, it just perfectly captures the essence of that vision. It's a call for a resilient, powerful church. The author's language is so direct and memorable, isn't it? Not a weak church, but, using his word, a hefty one. A church that's strong enough to withstand any challenge and operate fully in the power of the river.
And this is what it's all building towards. This is the ultimate takeaway of that future vision. The book foresees a time when people who are sick or in a crisis will turn to the church first, not as some final, desperate option after everything else has failed, but as the primary, most effective place to find real answers and real healing. That's a radical rethinking of the church's role in society.
And what's more, for anyone who wants to dive deeper into this vision for the future of healing and the church, the author's ministry website has a lot more resources and materials you can check out. And that leaves us with this final, thought-provoking question, which really comes from the book's core message. Regardless of where you stand on all this, it's a powerful idea to consider. Just think about it. What would our communities, our healthcare systems, our entire society look like if the church became the world's first response for healing? It's a question that really gets to the heart of what the river of glory is all about.